Beer O'Clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we got a beer from Magic Rock Brewing Company, and it's a can of the Botany of Desire Honey Double IPA, coming in at 8.7% ABV. There's a look at the can. Always iconic Magic Rock branding on their can. I like it. Let's get it out into a glass, see what we get. I went out on the hunt for their Neo or Unhuman Cannonball. Couldn't find it in my local bottle shop, but I found this instead. Sounded good, picked it up. Maybe one day we'll get hold of the Neo Unhuman Cannonball. Sounds really good. This sounds just as good. A honey double IPA. 2 finger white head. Hazy looking beer, good levels of carbonation. You see the bit of carbonation there. Bottom of the glass, rolling up the side of the glass. A light, very light. Again, the best way to describe this style of beer now is like an orange smoothie juice drink with a head. I suppose if you had a can of orange juice and you give it a big rigorous pour into your glass, you'd be momentarily left with a bit of a head on the orange juice, and then it would dissipate really quickly. That's in the moment, that's when the head's at its height. That's what it looks like, I suppose. I always mention the colour quite a bit, because in days gone by, I've been in beer festivals, I've been in bars, and I've been approached. I was actually with Richard Burhouse years ago up in Huddersfield in the UK, by Leeds, and a blind chap came up to us and he said, "I really like your beer reviews because you describe the beer so well." And he said, "I'm blind, I can't see the beer. I used to be able to see, but I can't see anymore. Thank you very much for giving it as much description as you possibly can." And I've done that ever since. I've really thought to myself, yeah, okay, we'll do that. Anyway, Aroma. Interesting. It's got that kind of cryo hop aroma that doesn't really smell like whole cone hops. It smells hoppy, but like a zombified hoppy aroma. But then again, you get a lot of honey. You do get a lot of honey in this beer, so maybe that is just playing with my mind a little bit. Let's dive in and taste the beer. What do I think about this? Is really astringent. The bitterness is really astringent and full on. Wow. Almost to the point of being like some kind of crazy sour bitterness. It's peppery and spicy on the back end. The bitterness is rip-roaring. It's like an old Stone Ruination IPA bitterness. Not Ruination 2. Ruination. Or 2.0, whatever they call it now. But it's almost as if they would have stopped the fermentation, because the honey would have carried on fermenting. They would have stopped the fermentation, or let the beer ferment out fully. Then they would have added a load of honey right at the end of the, literally before they batched the beer up into cans. And I'm just wondering if they turned the tap on the fermenter and had a little taste of this and gone, "Blimey, that's bitter, guys." And the brewer's gone, "We can't send that out, it's too bitter." And maybe they've gone, "Okay, what can we do?" And they've had a discussion and they've gone, well, let's throw some honey in the mix, just to try and sweeten it up a little bit, just to balance the beer off. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking might have happened here. It's very unusual to brew a honey double IPA. I personally don't think it was in intentions to do so. And I'm sorry, Magic Rock, if I've blown the doors open on your brewing process. The question is, does it add up? Am I enjoying it? Well, I'm standing here with a smile on my face, of course. I like a lot of Magic Rock's beers. If this was indeed, they'd gone, oh no, they tasted out of the ferment and they'd gone, oh no, it's too bitter, people may not like this, and what can we do? We can't throw it away. I mean, a beer like this, with the amount of hops that's gone in, would cost an absolute fortune to produce. You know, it's very difficult to throw a beer away. Some of the, I'm not suggesting this for a moment from Magic Rock, but some breweries, if they got a bad batch of beer, say with some diacetyl or something in, they'll blend the batch in with another beer. They'll blend that bad batch in with a good beer, and hopefully they try and hide it and whatever and get it out. I am not saying for 1 minute Magic Rock have done this, and I'm not saying for 1 minute that Magic Rock would do that. I'm just saying that beer is expensive. The time, the money, the wages, the paying the brewer, paying for the materials, paying for your building, everything else that goes with it. I think they've gone, yeah, let's just whack a load of honey into this beer and try and sweeten it up that way. Because I think without that honey taste in there, I think it would be just too bonkers bitter for this day and age. I mean, I love Stone Ruination, but it's very 2012. It's not 2018. Although I could be completely wrong. Comment in the comments box, guys. If you know more about this beer than I do, then comment in the comments box. I'm going to rate it. Before I do that, I'm going to read out Golden Promise, Torrefied Wheat, Pinhead Oats, Dextrin Malt, hops are T90, Denali, Mosaic Citra, Cryo hops, Simcoe and Citra. So they've used Simcoe and Citra hops, and then they've used Denial, Mosaic, Citra in the Cryo hops. Other ingredients are British heather, honey, and then yeast. I personally don't think it's one of the best beers that Magic Rock have produced. They probably know that internally. Then again, I'm not a massive fan of honey, so I don't. I'm just going to rate it. I'm just going to tell you how. I'm just going to tell you what I think about the beer. I'm going to rate it in numbers like I normally do, and I'm going to say. It's not quite blown my mind, this one, but it's still a good beer. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! And cheers.